I'm Priscilla Pfeiffer, and welcome to Spark Your Inner Fire, a podcast for artists, performers, and closet creatives. You bring a lighter, and I'll bring the fuel. It's time to spark your inner fire. Hello, and welcome to Spark Your Inner Fire podcast. I have a special guest today, Mark Paskell. Say hello, Mark.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Priscilla. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. Mark is a magician based out of Los Angeles. Fantastic magician, I might say, and he's hilarious, by the way. He's always keeping me on my toes and making me laugh every time we're on the phone. Mark, introduce yourself.
Well, I guess, I'm a full-time professional magician, and I always say that because a lot of great magicians I know actually have other jobs. They do other things, but magic and variety entertainment is my full-time job. Besides the home market, doing private engagements, a big part of my job is designing magic for corporations, trade shows, product launches, and that has been some of the most creative work I've gotten to do. For instance, I was hired by Casio. They were introducing a new calculator, and I wrote a whole mini show called The Magic of Casio, where it featured the calculator appearing and doing magical things and so on and so forth. So it's a different type of thing than you would think of just standing on stage and, pulling a rabbit out of a hat. But it's very fulfilling, and I really enjoy it.
So it sounds like you have the ability to really create each show and use your creativity to expand to what the client wants.
Oh, I'll tell you that. I actually, that is my byline is the first thing I say to a customer is my specialty is customization, because I don't want it to be a magician appearing at their event. I want it to be an amazing, incredible experience. And I just happen to be there. So I hear what they're looking for, what they need, if there's any special goals or things that they want to underline. And then I really do customize and create either a show or a trick or a presentation. There was this one woman's purse line called Jenny Bags, and they were doing this new online campaign, and they wanted to show, their bags are very small, but they can hold a lot of stuff. So I created this trick where we had the little bag and we pulled out like 400 pounds of stuff out of it, like impossible amount. And it was really hilarious. And obviously there wasn't a live elephant inside their bag and stuff, but it got the point across. So that was very creative and fun. But I think that's maybe a key to my longevity is I truly believe in hearing what the customer wants and then delivering it.
Okay. So how are you adjusting in this time right now? I imagine there's been a lot of adjustment, as for many. How are you making this transition?
Priscilla, I can't lie to you, probably myself and a lot of other people, when all this stuff really started going down, it was shock. It was shock and awe. I literally, to tell the truth, I probably walked around for 2 days in a daze and did nothing because I was thinking about, wow, I will literally tell you, I've never said this before in my entire life, but 100% of my business vanished in 48 hours. Literally all my clients called and canceled, for obvious solid reasons. And then even worse, the perspective for gigs in the near future, I knew were going to cancel or not book because of the current situation. So it was really like the world exploded. So what are your two choices? A spiritual man once said, you can either adapt and change the situations or die a horrible death. Okay, it wasn't a spiritual man who said that, but somebody said something like that. Maybe it was in a Clint Eastwood movie, but either way, the two clear choices were we can, really succumb to the tragedy, or we can adapt and move on. And so after that, a period of shock wore off. I was just like, well, what can I do? What can I do? And for me, the answers were lined up in project that I was starting to work on anyways, which is online entertainment. So that became my new goal, to get the proper equipment, learn, what I could do, and extrapolate it and get it out there.
So do you feel like this pushed you to do something it was already on your radar?
I'd have to say 110%. Not to sound like bad fortune cookie, but in the greatest tragedies lie the seeds of opportunity, if we want to look at them. If something's happening and you can just, get in the negative energy of it, like, oh God, this is terrible, I lost, blah, 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 blah. Or you can see, what is the opportunity here? What can I do to grow, to change, to move out of this space and move in the other space? And, the world of online entertainment has its own challenges and its own rewards. And I got to tell you, I've been massively and pleasantly surprised at my results. I'm getting results right now, and have actually been booking shows. And I feel like I'm just starting.
That's fantastic. I love hearing that because I know there's others out there that are allowing fear of what's going on or the doubt of what's happening to hold them back and not push through. And like you said, there's so much reward when you do push through that. And you gave yourself those few days, which I think is really important and valuable that you said that, because some people think, well, if I'm not working nonstop, then I'm not doing what I need to do. And I think there's that balance. You do need that time to reflect and relax and reset. We've been given this time for a reason. So having that balance of getting out there and pushing yourself to do something new and relaxing, reflecting, and resting is very important.
And I'll say on that note too, because what you just said is 110% correct. I have to confess that I certainly did not give myself the time. I was like running around going, and then it suddenly dawned on me to calm down. So I'd love to tell you I was spiritually, this is a very calm time. Yes. No, I was like, oh God, oh please. But eventually you slightly calm down, and you realize, like I said, you have to see the seeds of the opportunity. Again, I really hope this isn't a stereotype, but I'm remembering, I don't know, I think I was like 14 or something, and I saw this program about this painter who did these incredible paintings, and they'd show the paintings and stuff like this, and then they showed that the guy had no arms, and he was painting them with a paintbrush held in his foot. And I was like, it was the most amazing thing. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
But in the broadest terms possible, there is really an example of, you have a situation, and what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do to transform and change your life, and then and find the positive? Because isn't that our journey in life, what it's about?
Well, and I think that we could, as artists, even can get stuck in the stagnation of what we're doing. It become just monotonous, right? Monotonous at times, or
Sure.
you were not challenged as much as we used to be when we first started doing the art, or when we first started learning our craft. And as this challenge arose, it's actually made us, okay, shift, pivot to this change and adjust. Like, how am I going to make this happen? And it's actually challenged us creatively to strengthen that creative muscle that may have become stagnated. Are you seeing that?
That's an excellent point. That's an excellent point because I've been doing magic since I started doing magic when I was 7 years old. I was a kid magician, and I turned professional when I was 15 years old. And I'm, at this point in my life, in one way, I have a lot of established material and stuff that I know that works, kind of like Mark Paskell's greatest hits, that I can just go to, that I know it will be, successful. So it's very easy to sit back and rest on your laurels, so to speak, as opposed to the excitement. The reason I got into magic, I remember those years of exploring and discovering and creating new tricks and this and that. So again, for the blessings of today, that's literally what's happening right now. I've actually, very proud, created 2 magic tricks that actually work better online than they would in person. That was amazing to me. I mean, not clapping myself on the back, but I was saying, like, okay, it is an art form. It is a thing you can do. It's not just about, how can I move the camera, but an actual trick that works better this way. No, it's been amazing. And I will tell you something too. Guess what? We have all the perspective on us now as performers. Well, performings change. The audiences have changed too. The audience have changed. Where now, in a weird way of speaking, people are trapped in their homes. They're dying for entertainment. So you see, there's an opportunity there. So how can we, connect with those people, maximize that opportunity? So that's like something, from the business angle,
Yeah.
to think of that it really does exist.
Adjust and bring light, because that's what entertainment is for. It's to change the people that want to get away from their day to day or want to have a laugh and a little bit of entertainment. That's what we're here for. And
I'm so glad you said that. Thank you. Thank you for saying it.
Yeah. And I think that's why a lot of entertainers went through a little bit of adjustment of depression. I did, because it's like, I can't give my gift. I can't bring my light the way I'm used to.
Mm.
And by the support of one another, many, you and me, and through the entertainment community, we've kind of have each other's back to,
Yeah,
hey, we
yeah.
can still bring light. There is still a way for you to bring your gift and your entertainment to the world. And it's just tweaking and figuring out what that means.
And I'm glad you brought that up because, hey, guess what? Sometimes faults and different character defects we have still hang around and we have to deal with them. For instance, thinking back to my first online magic show that I did, it was for 3 couples having a cocktail wine night. So they all ordered the same bottle of wine. And at 7:30, I got them all online and I had the show all rehearsed and planned and I did the show. And, I was like, oh man, I could have had that card held up higher. I could have this, like at all, after it was over, I was like, well, that was okay, blah, 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 blah. The guy calls me later and he goes, Mark, that was so fantastic. Everybody was going about how great it was. And then he went on and on and on. And I was like thinking, boy, there I was again with, my super self-criticisms. And because I wanted to be holding the card this way instead of this way and stuff like that. But the bottom line was, it was very entertaining and it accomplished the goal. And so we have to always kind of remind ourselves of that too, to have that, keep working as artists to be the best that we can, but also to, release perfectionism and to, move towards the goals of having entertainment.
That's such a big deal. I struggle with that almost every show I get off stage. I'm like, I don't know if I did that right. I should have done this. And I start having this self-doubt of
well, see, that's where you're just wrong, Priscilla, because every time I've seen footage of you or this, that, you're fantastic.
Well, thank you. And you as well, Mark, and it just goes to show that it's our own story we're creating. We're creating a story of how it should have been done. And instead of releasing expectation and allowing the gift to be received, we just gave a gift. And now we're almost like, it was terrible. Give me that gift back. Like it wasn't good enough.
That's a great, I'm so glad you said that's such a great phrase. We're the story that we're telling and creating. That's a great visual.
Do you deal with that internal struggle often, or how have you figured out a way to deal with that when those thoughts arise?
Yeah, it's funny. I think the more that I focus on staying in the moment, literally the present right now for a creative project, what I'm working on, and what is staying in the moment, but it's releasing regrets of the past and releasing expectations of the future. You literally are right now. You literally are right now and you're working on something. And again, for artists, another thing I think is important is I call it the artistic accident, which I'm copywriting that phrase. So don't you even try it. No, I'm just kidding. No. The artistic accident, which is, I have an idea about something I'm going to do, a trick, blah, 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 blah. It's going to be a certain way. And then while I'm rehearsing it, making it, performing it, I even had this happen once during a performance where something totally different happened or something really off to the left of the way I thought the trick was going to be. And suddenly I see how that's like 5 times better than what my original plan was. So I try to have my third eye open to the overview, the artistic accident of something, which way is this going? Which way is it taking me? So it will be the ultimate goal. I mean, I'm sure you've heard that a professional magician, we don't want to fool people. Our goal is to create amazement and wonder. So I always try to keep that in the foremost of my mind. Can I create amazement and wonder?
Oh, and you do. And that's your gift to the world. It's amazing. I love that artistic accident. That's so fascinating.
Thank you very much. I actually have that tattooed on my. Okay.
So, Mark, you're talking about thoughts that you've had, and I know you've grown a ton, I'm sure, like over the years, and learned what to do, what not to do. And I think it's the balance of not allowing the inner critic to bring you down and keep you down, but to learn and grow from those things. Because in those self thoughts that we could have, those inner thoughts, there comes accidents, there comes things that we can actually make something out of and grow from and create from. So with that being said, was there anything in the beginning of your career or early on that you wish you had known that you learned later on?
Wow. Do you have an extra hour and a half? Well, I've learned today to be so much more open in the sense of what I'm looking at, what I'm taking in for inspiration, what I'm actually trying to want to create, because everything is valuable. I think everything is valuable. So that's an important thing, to be open to all the stimulus and all the things that I'm receiving and getting. The other thing is, I really think something I do automatically now, but maybe didn't do in the earlier part of my career, is coming from the audience's point of view, literally being in their shoes for the experience of what's happening from beginning, middle to end, and what is it creating for them. And then the biggest one, though, this is weird, but and I certainly didn't understand this for a long, long time, but I do understand this now, which is for real art, the more personal it is, the more universal it is. And at first I was thinking like, oh, well, if I'm doing this, or, based on this story I had, I wrote a magic routine once with music. It was about like 3-4 minutes with a woman appearing and disappearing and all this stuff. And it was actually based on a breakup with a girlfriend I had. That was the underlying story. It wasn't like a biographical thing. It was more a symbolic type of thing. And I think, when I was working on it, a lot of it was like, oh, this is too personal and this and that, blah, blah, blah. And in the illusion, the woman appears and we're dancing away, and then she vanishes, basically, to just break down the physical parts of it. So I was like, oh, gee, it's too on the nose or this or that or whatever. But when I actually did finally perform it, I was certainly told by more than one person that they found it very amazing and moving. And what happened is they each took their own personal experience from what they witnessed, and it became a personal experience for them. And that was because I went all the way and made it really personal, even using some music that was really emotional to me. So again, that example of going and being really personal and cut to the bone made it a more universal experience. I still kind of don't understand it in a way, to be honest with you. All right, another one. I got an idea for something from a dream, and I actually took it all the way and performed it. And here was the dream. The dream was I was with the elements of the earth and I was juggling them. And there was earth and there was water and there was fire, and I was juggling all of them. And that was the dream. And so and that was not after a night of heavy drinking, okay? Just so before you go there. Okay, so when I woke up in jail, the next thing I thought was, so when I woke up, I was like, well, how could I make that happen? And that led to actually a very successful illusion that I closed my act with for many, many years, which was all done to music. And it basically had 3 bowls. The lights would come up and there were these 3 glass bowls on the table. And one was filled with earth and one was filled with water and one was empty. So I would reach in the one of earth and squeeze it and make it like a ball of dirt, a ball of earth. And then I washed my hands in a bowl of water, but then I was finding something, the water was just amazing to me. And I somehow reached in the water and squeezed it, and the water held into a ball. And it just stayed in a round ball. And then I gestured over the 3rd bowl. It burst into flame. And then I reached in and pulled out a ball of fire, and I juggled the earth, the water, and the fire together.
Oh, beautiful.
And it was great. Now, I will say that 2 months of design and rehearsal, many second-degree burns.
Oh.
And once, because I was rehearsing outside, I almost set my car on fire. But besides that, it was a wonderful experience. No, it was really great. And I do remember I did that when I went on my first big trip to China, and I would close my show in China. And here it is, the language barrier. I didn't speak Chinese or anything, but that feeling reached out and instantly connected with people. And so the fact that they didn't have the dream or anything like that wasn't important. There was some strong symbiology there that was reaching out across the cultures, across the language. That's the most valuable thing of that lesson to me, is that because I really tuned into something that was personal and this and this, it created some sort of universal. So I try to follow that and keep creating things like that.
Thank you for sharing that. And I think that that's so valuable in so many aspects of artistic creation, because I think many artists, they don't want to show their vulnerability. They don't want to show their emotions. They kind of want to hide it. Or the poetry, the painting, the dance, the music that you create that does show your innermost emotion. Many artists want to hide that. That's not what they want to show to the world, because it's very vulnerable to show that to the world. It's your innermost feelings. But you hit the nail on the head. It's when you are vulnerable and show that innermost emotion that you can connect with others that have felt, seen, even subconsciously, unconsciously. They can connect on a whole different level than if you just create something on the surface artificially.
I have to agree. You're creating an artistic experience. So that's hopefully the goal.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing that, Mark, and giving that advice for other people who may be stuck in that and not knowing, well, should I reveal my innermost self? Should I show my emotions? Like nobody's going to want to see that. But I would argue that they do.
I have to really agree with you. When we look back on life, what do we remember? Do we remember when we walked down to the store and bought a loaf of bread? No. We remember the incredible emotional experiences, highs and lows that we've had, where something was occurring or changing. And, whereas we might seem to almost be kind of afraid of that, that is really the experience of life and what life's about. So who's that person that said about live fearlessly and really go for that? And very easy to say. I love sitting here sounding so official telling you about it, but it's a promise I try to make to myself every day to live fearlessly, because literally that's what it's about. And also the other side of that thing about living in the moment is as positive as possible. All we have is now. I don't know if at any time there's going to be an alien invasion. Okay, I just had to do that joke because I had that prop sitting on my thing right there. But we don't know what our next moment is. We have no future now. So literally, we are living in the moment. So please, let's embrace it 100%. And again, the thing of this moment now with lots of fear and lots of not knowing what's going to be happening down the line. Let's look for the seeds of opportunity. What can we do to change? What can we do to work on the things that we've always wanted to work on and embrace those things and frankly, turn this into a positive experience?
Oh, thank you so much for saying that, Mark. This was amazing, Mark. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on here and share your stories and being open and vulnerable and showing your awesomeness and where the magic lives. The magic lives behind the fear. And when you can get past that, right, that's where the magic happens. And I
that's
see
a great
that
way to put it.
I see that shining through you.
Oh, well, I'm very flattered. Thank you, Priscilla. And thank you for, having this spark your inner fire. It couldn't be a better way to live right now.
Oh, thank you. So how would people find you? Do you have a website, social media?
It's funny you should ask. But my website is markpaskell.com. And there's actually a 3-minute video there that shows me performing all over the world. So you can check that out.
Exciting.
And contact numbers on there. But yeah, no, I've been actually connecting with people all over the country. In the things I'm doing now, besides online magic, I have online teaching. We're doing all sorts of history things and trivia things and stuff. And it's been really great. And again, connecting with people, having human experiences. So yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Thank you, Mark. I'm going to put your link in the description so other people can find it.
Appreciate that.
And thank you, Mark. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Keep creating, keep making magic, and spreading your gift.
Thanks, Priscilla. Thanks so much for having me. And a final disclaimer, there is not going to be an alien invasion, to my knowledge.
Well, so, thank you. I feel so much better. I feel so much better.
There we are. All right, you have a smooth one. Thank you.
Bye.
It's Priscilla Pfeiffer. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please subscribe, leave a comment so I can reach more people like you. And go to sparkyourinnerfire.com. I have a special gift for you. Go check it out.